So here we are. It's another Wednesday, and it is already the middle of May of 2021. I don't know what is happening. I feel like I'm on like a water slide, where you can't stop yourself and you can't catch your, you know what I mean? You're just going and hope the ending is well, because the year has just, it's just nuts to me. It's just nuts. So we have some great questions this week. This is our regular live Q&A. We love to hop on here as a group and answer your questions so that you can kind of get opinions from different people. There's, it's very rare that there's one answer for anything in any world, but especially I think with essential oils. I mean, it's based on what you have handy. And what works for you might not work for the next person. So I love that we can kind of have a conversation around a lot of these questions and share our experiences, as well as some of the things that we've tried with some of our clients and customers and family members to help you out. So maybe something will click with you. Today on our amazing panel, we have some fantastic partners. We've got Miss Diana Webb from Wellness is Essential with Diana.
Hi, Wednesday people. Welcome back.
Wednesday people. We're like the hump day crew. Then we've got our wonderful Miss Joan Sberro from Bosqueom Essentials.
Hello and happy Wednesday.
Hello to you. Miss Susan Velasquez from Epiphany Essentials.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, Miss Tammy Lane from Pure Plant Oils.
Hey, happy Wednesday, everybody. Happy Q&A. Curious minds want to know.
Oh, there you go. There you go. I like that. Now you know, do, 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 like the little rainbow across the thing, right? And then my name is Carrie Barrera with Ravens Nest Essentials. So let's dig in, because we've got some juicy questions this week. I was just chatting with the ladies here about a few of them and some of the different ways that we can sort of attack them. I'm pulling it up here as we speak, because of course, as soon as you start talking, everything closes down, right? Our first question tonight is regarding tinnitus. So Susan, can you explain to us even initially what is tinnitus when we say that?
I can, absolutely. It is some kind of experience or perception of sound in the ear that comes from inside your own head. It's not external. Mm-hmm. Nobody else hears it. It's usually kind of like a ringing or a buzzing, or some people hear kind of like a rushing sort of a sound. So it's a neurological experience that comes because of something going on in and around the ear. So there you have it.
It could be a variety. It's not like a simple as this and that.
Right? No, it can be as simple as your allergies are acting up and you've got some congestion, and that congestion in your sinuses that communicates with your ear system is causing some congestion near the ear, and that's what's causing that to happen. Mm-hmm. So it can be as simple as you got allergies, treat the allergies, right? Or it can be related to other things, including hearing loss. So it's not an uncommon experience for people as they get older and their hearing, maybe degrading a little bit. And so in that way, it's kind of like the brain is filling in for information that used to be coming from those sensory cells in your ear.
Ooh,
and now it's not there anymore. And so your brain's kind of,
that makes
a very interesting phenomenon.
That's super interesting.
And really, difficult for people for whom it is a very persistent experience. I suffer from tinnitus and I've had it for decades, and it just is, I know what it's related to. It's not something that's going to go, it's okay. It doesn't get worse. It's not progressing. And it's just something I've learned to live with. It bothered me in the beginning when it first developed, and now it's just like I hardly even notice it. And honestly, that's part of it for people who there's no serious etiology as to why it develops. If it's just kind of one of those things and you got to learn to live with it, one of the things to do is to try some external things like white noise machines can be helpful to kind of provide some sound that is giving stimulation, and therefore the brain kind of figures out what to do with it. and, you know, can help decrease. It's really about decreasing your perception of it. And, you know, that can help.
That's fascinating. And so when we're talking about with our oils,
Mhm.
we are really always looking for sort of root cause. And with this, there's so many possibilities.
Absolutely.
It can be challenging to really deal with. And we have a comment too about the second part of the we like to call it the jab, but the vaccination really making it, exacerbating it, right, for some people. So
Well, and that makes sense. If we think about that's causing an inflammatory response, right? And so inflammation is always going to involve some kind of, you know, congestion of some sort, right? Because it's extra blood flow and that, you know, response from our body. So
yeah.
makes sense.
Joan, were you going to add something on there? I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, it was really, because I'm like Susan, I have suffered from it for decades. And it's usually sort of, you know, it's mild and I've learned to live with it and usually barely notice it, except sometimes there'll be a little bit of a flare. And yes, I mean, boy, I will tell you, after that second jab, it was crazy loud.
Wow. Susan, did you have, I'm trying to remember if you had some ideas for solutions. I know my connection's being wonky. I'm going to fix that.
Well, we did talk about several, and I think if Amelia's not here with us, okay, so I'll look them up. I know helichrysum always comes up. Helichrysum is very often recommended for things that have to do with the ear, so that's definitely something that can be tried, and it's so convenient now because it's in a roller bottle, which is great. So one thing that we want to say for a safety issue is you're never putting your oils directly in your ear, right? So you're going to put the essential oils diluted on that, you know, the little part of your ear before the opening of the ear, and then around on that bone around the back of the ear. And you can even put it on the earlobe and kind of in this pinna, you know, section here that, you know, the kind of little shell portion of our ear around, but you're keeping it external. And so, you know, whatever you're using, that's, you know, what you want to do. For anybody who suffers from like when I get allergies, I'm kind of going through that this week because we had a bit of rain and I sort of fell off my allergy protocol. And so now I'm paying for it because it's bright and sunny and beautiful again. And
and everything's blooming.
The pine trees have those little baby pine cones on them. And I said to my husband, I said, aren't they cute? They're just a little, he was like, no, don't touch them. Because there's that little poof of, you know, cloud of pollen that comes off them. So, you know, for that clogged ear, some people like things like digestion or even past tense around the ear. And that can be a little intense. So, you know, dilute, but that can be helpful for kind of unclogging that eustachian tube area that can lead to just temporary tinnitus or tinnitus, however you say it. That's kind of a regional thing. All right. So if anybody else has other things to throw out, the Modern Essentials has a great little protocol and I'm looking that up as we speak. So if anybody else has some helpful tips they want to add, please feel free while I look that up.
As you look that up, I'm just going to say, I was thinking that, you know, as helichrysum had come up earlier and as you were mentioning it now, just realizing, right? I mean, we've got it in a roller now. That's so simple. Oh my gosh. So I'm going to start trying to use that and remember that, since it's just
I have a few here.
Yeah, I was gonna say cypress and juniper berry, basil, the zindecrine, all of those, anything that helps, and frankincense. We can't forget our frankincense because that reduces inflammation.
And copaiba too, kind of interchangeably.
Yeah.
I've used both.
So important to know, you can use whichever of these that you have, right? And you can you can make a roller ball of all of these and just go for it, or you can systematically move through your oils to figure out which one seems to be the one that's your best solution. Oftentimes we'll give you a whole list of possibilities with the goal meaning, you know, use what you can, what you have. Not that you got to go and fill your cart with 12 oils. Although you're welcome to, but you know.
Yeah, and start
Diane,
with one and move
Yeah.
through them, like you said, and see which one works for you, because everybody's a little different.
for sure, for sure.
And I'm seeing that you can use the Terrazyme to help, kind of decongest your body. And also that you can use like tangerine and cinnamon in water. Just to
Ooh.
help,
Like in your drinking water.
kind of get yourself in your water, just to get you like, help you clearing out,
Kind of that daily detox idea.
I often rub my eustachian tubes.
That just sounds funny.
They're in there.
I rub my eustachian tubes.
Yeah. And as a cranial
I
psychologist,
do.
a
I'm
really
like,
tip. Okay. So if you just put your fingers just kind of like on that soft spot, not in your ear canal, but on the soft spot, like right above your lobes, and you hold behind, and then you imagine that you're kind of laying back and you're creating a tent, and gently pull out and back on your ears, but gentle, like 5 grams, which is the weight of a nickel. That will help release that the whole canals and the tentorium and all of that tissue in there. And that's something else that you can do.
That's a great tip.
Yeah, I like that. That's really helpful. Yeah, it
After
seems
you
like,
have applied your oils, though, after you applied your oils, right?
yeah,
Get
because
that
well, you need
benefit.
that, you might need that extra like physical, like the
Right.
massaging of your eustachian tubes. Go ahead and look up where those are.
Yeah.
And then
they're
yeah.
right there.
hard to describe on a podcast, I will say, but yes, do that, and then use your oils to kind of complement that practice. And like with everything else, you're gonna have to be like on it, right? You're gonna have to
Right.
do it continuously. There are some much more elaborate, or if you will, protocols that include things like the Mito 2 Max, certainly using your LLV. And if you would like some information on those, please reach out to us. We'll be happy to send you those protocols. And no, you need to be thinking about what the cause is. For some, there might be only so far you can go, right? I mean, because if the cause is something that's like, damage,
Right.
and things of that nature. So keep that in mind. If it's something like allergies, certainly we got you, probably even the inflammation experience after the second, vaccination, or just the occasional case, or even those early times of hearing loss. I like too, Diana posted about her daughter also, like you said, Susan, she uses noise dampening headphones, right?
That's a great
Noise
idea.
canceling. Sorry, I couldn't get the word right earlier. I was like, what is it called? But I guess they make a little noise, like in
There's a
order to
little-
cancel the noise around you.
Yeah.
And so that is very soothing to her, because it's like right there in her ear, and she gets
Right.
that all the time, and it really irritates her, makes her grumpy when she gets that. So she loves those headphones, and she's just like constantly wearing them because they do that little white noise right there in her ear.
Right.
Well, and they also stop, our brain isn't necessarily processing, so we're not necessarily hearing everything, but we are hearing all the time. And even wind and sounds are
Oops,
messing
a freezy.
around. Did I freeze? Oh, sorry. Messing around with our ears. So having those on can be really supportive to just kind of minimize all of that possibility. So,
For sure. The other thing I wanted to mention is that there are some medications for which tinnitus is a side effect. So be sure to check if you're on something that you're taking regularly. And one of the biggest is Nsaids, which are the non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, which include things like, ibuprofen. So, if you're on something like that, it may be limited to the time that you're taking that medication. And then once you're not taking it regularly, it'll go away.
right.
But that's a reason to, kind of
Yeah.
think about that.
And that's another, I always love this, because that's something that if you would like to reduce the amount of NSAIDs that you're taking,
Right.
reach out to your wellness advocate, because that is definitely an area where, oh girl, we got
We
you.
got tools.
Like that's
Yeah.
one of those, like, hold my beer, right? Like it's one of those moments. There's some things that you just feel really like, oh no, I got you on this one.
Right.
Okay, so let's move on, unless I've missed something that anyone wanted. That was some great information, guys. I really like that. This next one is for our puppy friends, and this is related to the IQ Mega. I know, Joan, you're using this with BG. We use it with our dogs. Our dogs are old. The question, let me see, it is, how can I use the IQ Megas for my dog? So let me first explain which one we're using. There is in the, I guess you would find it in the supplement section, there is a set of an A to Z chewable that is for people who don't swallow supplements, or children, seniors, things of that nature. And complementing it, there is a bottle, a tall bottle. This is not a small 15 ml bottle. This is a full size big bottle of IQ Mega oil. All right. Really, really a wonderful tool. It is going to have all of those omegas that you need. It's going to be a really good balancer for you, but it works. Yes. So if you are watching, you can see that Miss Joan has hers right there. So it's a good size bottle, you know. We started using this with our dogs to help with joint pain issues as well as skin issues. And it turns out it's amazing for their brain health. And we had a gal, I don't know if you guys remember our wonderful friend Amanda. She's moved and has a lot going on, but she had a dog who was getting on in years, who truly could not play with the other dogs, run, play, jump, get on and off the couch without aid because of hip issues and the pain related to that. Started them on the IQ Mega, and what you're doing is you're adding about, I do about, and it depends on the size of your dog, but really I do about a tablespoon in their food once a day. And then this is what she was doing, and she was also adding some copaiba. All right. It wasn't even a week, and her dog was jumping off and on the couch, playing and romping around with the other dogs, outside, able to go for walks, like more extended walks than, you know, like she could walk. She used to have to separate how they walked because the puppy could go much longer, harder, faster, tug and go, and the other one was dragging. It's incredible what it can do, but it's also good for their brain. So Joan, what have you noticed with BG? And
With BG, what?
She's been on it like what, at least 8 months or so now?
Yeah, she's been on it for a while, and one thing I'll say too, she loves it. I mean, I do have the kind of dog that just, you know, pretty much will eat anything. She's not at all a picky eater, but yes, I pour it. I just do a quick pour over her food. She usually gets that in the evening. And I noticed similarly a really rapid change in her. She was dealing with some gimpiness, a little bit of arthritis, right? The vets wanted her on all kinds of stuff. And so I tried this, and it made an immediate difference in her being able to jump up and down off of the sofa and walking and all of that. Yeah. So she's just a real happy camper on it, and she loves it, right? I think it tastes good for them. It's easy to pour into their food. Easy peasy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've also had worked with a lot of people. I mean, you can use this also in just about any animal, okay? Because we use it with horses, we use it with goats, you know, you can use it with your chickens, you know, if you can find the way that they get excited to eat it. And most of them really like it. I had another client who had a senior dog who was losing their appetite and not eating, and they were really struggling to find foods that they could tolerate and eat. And it wasn't just like this whole world of pain in the butt. I mean, she said she put it on just the regular food, and they gobble it up and are licking all the residue of anything that is left in the bowl to get every last portion of it. So it's not even something that it's not like a pill that you're hiding in the peanut butter. It's just healthy, and it goes on their food, and they love it. Tammy is saying in our little chat here that her cat loves it. They're a little more finicky. It has a little bit of a wild orange smell. I bet they wish it smelled more like fish. which it doesn't, but cats love it. You know, if you have, you know, each animal's different. Maggie's ferret, from time to time, ferrets just are being the way they are. She'll get a little bit of a, like, it sounds like she's choking, you know, she'll just get like a dry throat. You know, it sounds like she has a hairball, but she doesn't. She just kind of gets this weird neck thing. And so we usually give her like some MCO oil or you know, or, you know, something, I don't know, just even just coconut oil, right? A little bit on your finger and she licks it and then she can swallow. But this works as well. If it's right there handy, she can use this and she'll just boop, 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 lick it up and go. And it clears her throat. I've noticed a big change. Have you noticed a change in BG's coat?
Yeah, her coat, because she actually, I've had people comment on her because she is a healer and they tend to have a rougher coat than other dogs, right? But her coat is really quite soft. Yeah, skin
Nice.
is good. Yeah, she's actually currently at the groomer. Getting a little spa day.
Oh, how nice for her. How nice.
How nice for me too. She needed it. I'll just say.
I love that. Okay, so let's move on. It's just wonderful. And by the way, sometimes go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say also too, because you were saying you can, if you want to add it to your LLV, you can add it, but that comes in the set with the A to Z chewables, but you can order it separately. You don't have to get it with those chewables. You can just, because that's what I do, is I just buy the bottle of this on its own and just, you know, search IQ Mega. It's there, easy.
Yeah.
But if you want those if you want those chewables, then it makes great sense to add it, to do it as one of your add-ons to your LLV.
Oh yeah. Yes. Tammy, we have a question on how are you using it, or how do you dose it for your cat? Any different? You just kind of putting it on his food or her food? His food?
Yeah, I actually let him lick it off my finger, because when I pour it over the dog's food, and then he'll be like there, meow, and then I'll put some on my finger and he licks it off. So
nice.
Just a little bit. I was thinking just for smaller animals, since we have little, you know, little bitty animals, you know, how much is enough, not too much, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you.
bit. Yeah, just a little bit. But my cat's funny because like when I give my dog's treat, he's there. I think he thinks he's a dog. Because he's like, he wants his treat. When the dogs go outside, he goes outside. So, you know, it's just kind of okay.
Hanging with the pack.
Yeah. The funny thing is that you have enormous dogs. And so it's funny that cat can think that it's a dog like them. It's too funny.
I'll tell you what though, he rules the roost. So even with my giant dogs, he's the boss.
He's in charge of everything, right? Oh my goodness. I love that. That's so funny. Okay, so our next question is, I think I found this interesting and I'm really curious because I know that Susan's going to talk us through this. We had a little chat on this earlier today, and I'm just fascinated by this. It's asking, is it possible to develop a tolerance, you know, to the oils or your oil routine? And they're saying that they're talking specifically about sleep and the fact that what used to work isn't necessarily working so well anymore. So what did you find out, or what are your thoughts on that, Susan? I bet Tammy has things. I think we all have a little something we can probably add to that. Oh, there goes one of Tammy. Oh, both Tammy's dogs are coming in. They heard us talking about
Okay, so, I think it is absolutely possible that something that worked great no longer works. So I think of it as the body gets acclimated to what you're doing, right? And so it's good to kind of switch things up. Now you may have the one thing that like always works, right? And that doesn't mean that you shouldn't use it, right? But if you're finding that what always worked isn't working as well, maybe every like 10 to 14 days, switch it up a little bit. We're so lucky that everything that we can use our oils for has more than one answer and more than one, you know, solution to it. And so look at what the, you know, variety of things are that you can use, and then switch off a little bit. And you may find, and I have found this, and we've talked a lot about the morphine bomb, the capsule that we make that has absolutely no morphine in it, but it's, mine is usually frankincense, marjoram, and lemongrass. And I have tried to switch it up at times just to see what will work as well. And when I switch out the marjoram for something else, it doesn't work as well for me. So that's me and my headaches, right? But if it wasn't working, if I found I wasn't getting relief, then I would switch it up and try something else, like some basil, you know, maybe, or, you know, one of the herbal kinds of things, or add some copaiba to the mix, or, you know, that kind of thing. So it's good to kind of keep our body, not that we want to keep our body guessing, but to allow time for it to not be used to something and have something new kind of in play, so that we, you know, keep a variety of tools that can be effective for what we need it for.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. You know, my first reaction is no, you can't, you know, I mean, in the way that we think about drug tolerance, or the way that we think about, you know, so I just want to be clear that
yeah, it's not tolerance.
Exactly.
Right, because tolerance means that you now, like, I take 2 ibuprofen capsules to
right.
solve my headache pain, and now that doesn't work anymore. Now I need 3, and then I need 4, you know, whatever, or other, you know, drug related type of issues. It's not that. It's more a matter of, let's give a different variety of chemical constituents, which are really what's doing the work in our body. And by switching those things around, it allows, you know, other pathways to sort of rest, you know, while our body is using a new mix of, you know, the good plant parts that we're giving it.
I think that's the perfect way to describe it, is let's utilize some different pathways, you know, just to kind of keep it fresh. There's also a mental aspect to it too. You know, there's an aspect of our expectations.
Absolutely.
We adjust to what we're used to, and our expectations also change. I also think, and Tammy, I promise I am going to let you pop in here. I also think with sleep specifically, there are so many reasons why we don't sleep. And it is possible that the reasons the first things worked for you are because you've actually kind of settled those issues. And now your other issues are the ones that are talking and keeping you awake at night, you know, and that you might need to change up your protocol, because now your core issue is not the same core issue. Do you hear what I'm trying to say? So don't be afraid if something is kind of changing the way, reevaluate. Okay, what is it about my sleep that's not working anymore? Exactly what is the difference that I'm feeling now from when I first started that? Am I waking up at 3 a.m. every night? Is it that I wake up and have to use the bathroom too much? You know what I mean? Reevaluate, because it could be also that you have kind of worked your way through some of those initial things, and now you need to work deeper, you know. Sorry, Tammy, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say that, and this is probably like essential oils 301 or 401, but every essential oil has its own chemical constituents, and some have higher linolols or higher esters or higher something like that. And it's not that you get a tolerance to it, but when those chemical constituents get in and they heal those cells, those parts of your cells, sometimes you need to have another chemical constituent come in to work on those cells and to help adapt, you know, the physiological changes that are going on in the body. So I know that's kind of way out there, but shake it up, mix it up, try something new, because we got lots of stuff.
For sure.
And novelty can be a good thing to the body, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think keeping it fresh and changing it up is a great thing. I also think that, you know, just like anyone in just regular healthy day-to-day life suffers from occasional issues that come up. So while, let's say digestive health, for instance, if you're someone who has digestive health issues and you're utilizing a protocol and it's working for you really well, but then all of a sudden you kind of have what feels almost like a relapse or something, it might be that something you might just be having one of those regular things that happens to people, like you just got another vaccination, or you had dental work done, or you had a trauma or an illness or something that happened, or you ate too much sugar or drank too much. You're still going to get a hangover. Like, like there's still factors that are going on. Like there's no,
We're dynamic. We change.
thank you. We're
Absolutely.
dynamic.
We
Yeah.
work out.
Our environment, our body environment is very dynamic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and I think I know who this is. And this person has totally changed their entire world with working out regularly, changing diet, changing everything. So it makes sense that the tools to help you would also need to change up, right? Because you are no longer that same person physically that you were before. And so the tools are going to have to change with you. And yeah, I love that. We are dynamic. We have to change with that. And yes, sometimes you just got to change it up, mix it up. I think that's awesome. But just to be clear, we are not talking about tolerance in the way that we're used to hearing that word, like Susan said, with ibuprofen or medications or anything where you build up, almost an immunity.
Yeah,
What is-
our resistance.
Exactly.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And that's
And I
important.
just want to also mention too, that's why when people look in our resources, like our Emmy handbook, and they look up something and they'll have like a variety of different things listed, and then they're in different colors, they're red, orange, and green. And that's because they're going to give you the items for primary that are focused on a certain thing. But because we are all different, we're all organic, different beings. Sometimes when we change, we need to change it up. So, and I love the fact that doTERRA gives us all of those options. It's not just, okay, just take this, because there are some places that this is all you get,
Yeah. It makes it's really wonderful. You don't have to go get a new prescription. You can just kind of rework your little situation at home, retweak. But the beautiful thing, I think, is that when things like this happen, you recognize like, oh, I'm changing, like things are changing, and now I've got to change my routine. So I think that's pretty cool. Okay, our next one. Somebody bought bananas and brought them in this RV, and now I've got fruit flies, and I'm very angry about it. I should say, what is the fruit fly? This is not even on my list. Fruit fly, I hate fruit flies. I don't know about you guys, and I know it's spring in Albuquerque too, and this is when they come, right?
Yep.
Does anybody have a fruit fly protocol? Think on that for a second.
Peppermint, diffused peppermint. Boop, they'll leave. They don't like peppermint. Flies don't like peppermint.
I'm gonna peppermint it up because I hate them, and they just love me. And so, yeah, as soon as I saw those bananas too, I thought, that was a mistake. It's always bananas in our house. Anyhow, okay. What are your, so this is a panel question. Go around the room, right? Your must-have supplements besides Lifelong Vitality. So he is asking, if you could only choose like one or two more because of budget restrictions, if you had to create sort of a hierarchy of like, gotta have this, like you figure $100 a month budget, right? I mean, don't stick to that. So one or two, I'll give you guys two because I know one will kill you, and I don't want to do that because I love you guys. But what would you choose and why? All right. So Tammy and Susan, you're both unmuted. So whoever is ready, go ahead.
I was gonna say, I bet Tammy's ready.
All right, Tammy's ready.
I'm gonna say it depends. What are you
So
trying to
fair.
No. What are you trying to address? So if you're trying to address like pain and inflammation, then I would say deep blue polyphenol and the turmeric duo capsules. If you're trying to address maybe some organ or digestive issues, then I would say your endocrines. If you're trying to address maybe some cellular issues, definitely DDR prime, and then Terrazyme. If you're trying to address emotional issues, right? We've got our adaptive. So it depends.
Right.
And that's why you have a wellness advocate to work with.
But what are your two must have?
And why? She's like, well, I got to think about
The
that.
thing is,
All right, I'm ready.
the thing is that I do all of them, and
Right. But you got to pick two. So here's the thing, assuming a healthy person without any specific major issues, you know, what would be the keep me healthy, keep me strong? I'm doing the LLV. What two things can I add that would be the perfect partner boost to take me to some, you know, higher levels of health?
All right,
So-
I have to agree with Diana. Deep blue polyphenol and DDR prime. Those
Oh,
are
where did
those are the-
Diana? I didn't even hear Diana. Diana, would you like to share your
She
favorite?
did it in the chat. She did it in the
The
chat.
silent partner.
I was on Facebook chat. That's hilarious.
Well, let's go ahead and let Diana say hers, because that way it's
Yes.
on the podcast.
I find that the deep blue polyphenol, I discovered this very early on. It's an absolute must-have. I cannot go without it because it addresses the causes for me of my mood support, my emotional support, and also my physical support, which are both based in inflammation. But, you know, and it reduces that. It's an excellent reducer of that. And so my deep blue polyphenol is an absolute must have. I have to have that because I noticed an immediate effect after I ran out of it. And I just like, I hadn't felt that low I couldn't even remember how, you know, how that was before, because it was so balancing to my system and it was so helpful to me. So yeah, I never want to go through that again. That was like a really like, whoop, you know, I fell right down to the bottom of the hill again. And I did not like that feeling. So definitely deep blue polyphenol. And then of course, yes, DDR prime. I have my struggles that I go through with, you know, I always am going back to the dermatologist and making sure that things are okay. But, you know, I had, you know, a health issue, and it is a lifelong issue because it, you know, you're exposed to the sun and your skin cells react to that. And mine in particular react not too good. So I make sure that I just am always with my DDR prime as well. And I have noticed that it is just like, it just is such a wonderful thing also for my digestive system. It helps with that. It helps with my immunity, boosts my immunity as well. It's just a wonderful all around, really great oils that you just can't get. You know,
Yeah.
you just can't get them normally, and they're in there. Summer savory, Niuli, you know, there's just like a wonderful blend that just is really just amazing. And I just don't think that I could live without it either. It's a prize.
Yeah. Those are good points. See now, dang, I should have gone first, because now you're making me rethink mine. Because you're right, like there are, like in that pill, like you're getting some DDR prime is their stuff, guys. I mean, with all those things that we can't replicate elsewhere, you know, the summer savory, Niuli, all of these super awesome oils that we can only get in very small quantities. That's a good point. So okay, Susan, you've been ready. What are
I'm
your
ready. And I'm I mean, obviously you take as many of them as you can take, because they're all great, right? And they're all going to be terrific. But the ones that I'm the most consistent with right now are my phytoestrogen. I have learned the value of, and that's a daily for me. And the turmeric capsules, because I feel like they cover so many bases of cardiac health, neurological health, metabolism and digestive health, like just about everything. And they're so unique, and only doTERRA has them in the way that we have them, with the oil and the botanicals combined. And I've been on them pretty consistently since they first came out. So I can't tell you like there's this one issue that I had that they've completely resolved. You know what I mean? I feel like I took them for general inflammatory support, And I
Mhm.
feel like I get good results with that, just the over 50 general body aches and joint issues and all that kind of stuff. But I stay with them because I feel like they just cover so many bases in that one
I-
little yellow pill.
The DDR prime and the turmeric dual capsules are such an investment in your future health that that sometimes I feel like it's harder to explain to people why these are so important, because they're, when your stomach hurts, you just want the stomach pain to go away, right? But if you are looking for true strong health throughout your lifespan and into your later years, I think those two are just powerhouses, because you are dealing with all of your cellular health. And that turmeric, oh my gosh, brain health on that little guy alone is just something that we all absolutely need. Absolutely. Tammy, were you able to rework yours? Are you going with Diana's? You said the DDR prime. Go ahead.
Well, absolutely the DDR prime. I have to go with that only because of my family's history, health history, and that has been a game changer for me. I like the deep blue polyphenol, but if I had to switch it up, I would do DDR prime and my Terrazymes, because those Terrazymes that is like, if I eat and I don't do my Terrazymes, yeah. So if I was on a desert island and all I got was LLV and 2 items, deep blue polyphenol and Terrazymes.
Well, you would definitely want it then, because God knows what you'd be eating on that island, right?
Right.
It's
right.
Plus, you get such a great deal getting them with your LLV, right?
That's right. Oh, DDR prime is the, right. Okay, so
that deal is crazy. So in the chat, I think Leslie might be driving. So by the way, our Leslie is here, our wonderful partner, LeslieRadigan from Daisy Girl Essentials. She came in after I did the intro, but she is here with us. But she is, I think, driving, so she is not on audio. But she is letting us know that hers are deep blue poly and the turmeric. I like how she's throwing in a couple more.
Because none of us just throw in 1 or 2 after that LLV, right?
I know, right? But I'm going to talk about at least the one of the ones that she's mentioning here, but she's also saying Terrazyme. Terrazyme is like, I think of it like your get out of jail free card, right? Like you can almost eat things that you normally can't. It's a digestive enzyme, right? It really just helps to support your body in that whole process in so many ways. It's just awesome. So I think mine, and I was really torn between the turmeric and one of my other ones, but since Susan said that, I'm going to go, I'm PB Assist. There's no way I'm going a day without PB Assist. The importance of that prebiotic and probiotic combined together in keeping my gut healthy and strong. And we all know how amazing, if your gut is healthy and strong, how that supports everything from emotional health, respiratory health, pain, inflammation, all of the other areas of life. If you're working to keep that strong and healthy, you fought a good portion of the battle, right, to keep the other things healthy. And then after that, I'm going to go adaptive, which I guess is no surprise to anyone. I would, for a person who's just like, your regular average Joe, I would probably recommend the turmeric because of those long-term supports that you get from that. The adaptive, though, if I'm being just me, I need my adaptive. I love it. If you have any type of anxiety, stress, even just want to feel fantastic, then take your adaptive every day. Feel positive, feel supported, feel ready, feel capable, engaged, reduce overwhelm, all of these things that for me are barriers to my happy life. The adaptive is my key to walk through the door on that, and I'm not giving that up. So
I have a Facebook words coming in.
Nice.
From our commentary on Facebook. We have our wonderful Celine and Miss Leslie's mom, and she says that her she was having itchiness that was just overwhelming. And she was making her own oil caps, but somebody recommended, somebody special, which we know who that is, Miss Leslie, recommended try ease. And it just went away, and that just has allowed her to just feel better, sleep better, and just, you know, improved her outlook on the day. And yeah, that's like the perfect like example of what we were saying, where you think you're doing fine, you're working with whatever, and then it's not even something that's coming in that you aren't maybe aware of, you know, but there's something blooming in your yard, and suddenly now you're just dealing with all this annoying itchiness that's disturbing your sleep. So, you know, you've got to be willing to kind of, be open to looking for another good solution, because we have great ones to help you.
For sure. And the beauty of the supplements, I think, and the huge array of what we have, like we just did a supplements class on Monday. Gosh, was that just 2 days ago? But I tell you, but I think that they are so easy, so accessible. You can be so consistent, and they work beautifully for people who even aren't digging on oils. Like, you know, the people in your family who are not necessarily down for the oil world, they still love their supplements, you know, and they're powerhouse changers, and they're all natural. They are not filled with fillers. They are, you know, what's the word I'm looking for? Bioavailable. You know, our body can put them to work right away. We just don't, you know, all those issues that you get with other types of supplements you don't have. So they're just fantastic. So
digestible,
so
They
digestible.
you just take them right in.
And they don't tax our kidneys or, you know, our liver by over bombarding them, or strip, you know, the good mucus lining in our intestines by causing other issues. So I just can't say enough. They were the surprise sleeper for me, for sure. You know, I came in the oil door, and now I would happily, I can't say enough about them. They're my favorite thing that we do, beyond co-impact sourcing, but that's another conversation. So, okay, we're going to move on. I like this question because this is real for all of us. So now that we're all venturing out into the world again, what are we going to do about our ugly feet? So specifically, she's asking about cracked heels, so that our feet can go outside in sandals, right? So what do you guys have for cracked heels beyond hydration, a good scrubbing regularly? Susan, what you got?
I got myrrh. Myrrh is fantastic. So I like to take the unscented lotion, the body lotion that we have, and a little squirt of that and a drop or two of myrrh, and it's so great. And I'm one of those people who really never goes barefoot because my feet just don't like to be barefoot. And they tend to be very dry. I mean, even when I was a kid, I was not big on being barefoot because it was just uncomfortable. So I, you know, need a lot of foot attention in the summer. And so that's what I tend to do. I tend to do some myrrh in that. Either the body butter is awesome too, if you need something a little bit heavy, of a heavier, you know, kind of a lotion, and add that to it. Now, that being said, I know there's a lot of like cracked heel balms, and there's even a roller I think you can do and all that kind of stuff. So
yeah,
hopefully somebody's got one of those recipes for us, but that's my quick and dirty, just a little myrrh and some lotion.
I like the unscented body butter too for your feet.
Yeah.
After the shower, and you use your little scrubber guys on your feet, that body butter, and add in there, you know, like some myrrh, some rose if you have it, some lavender
palm serum.
Yeah, the yarrow palm serum. So good. Healing. It's so healing, right? It's just, I don't know. I love those. There are some recipes that you can find on the blog, I believe, for cracked heels. I don't have one right here in front of me. But I know that it's really, it's nice to have in the yarrow palm serum, as well as in the unscented lotion that Susan was talking about, and the body butter that I was talking about, what you're doing is you're locking it in. So you have continuous release of that moisture, and the oils are able to slowly absorb. The best time is going to be right after a shower or a hot soak. so that your feet are really open and wanting to take all of that in. So beyond that, you can almost do a lot. You have a lot of variety of options, right, of what you can do. Tammy, were you going to add something on the feet?
I was just looking, I was searching doTERRA for, you know, a recipe, and I actually have this foot mask recipe. So you can actually make a foot mask, you know, and it's Greek yogurt, which organic Greek yogurt, which I guess is really good. Raw honey, which we know honey is super, super good. Fractionated coconut oil, celery seed, and bergamot oil. Because celery is rich in zinc, it helps repair the cracked, dry skin. And then the yogurt gives your probiotics, right? And lactic acid. And then, of course, honey is a natural humectant, which Susan can tell us what that is.
Moisture.
Moisture.
Helps keep moisture in the skin.
Like humectress, remember the shampoo?
Humectant, yep.
And then bergamot. So
that sounds so good. I have to go buy some celery.
Luxurious. That sounds so luxurious. Don't accidentally eat it for breakfast, but I guess it would be okay if you did.
It would be okay. Exactly. It's all edible. And you're going to blend that together. That sounds so good.
And then what I'm thinking is, if you don't have celery, can you use the celery seed oil? Why not? Right? Yeah. Oh, and then,
Leslie's saying too, the Correct-X, which for sure.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
To Correct-X for everything. Okay. It is the tool of choice for so many things. Man, I love Correct-X.
Yeah, so I'm thinking you can make this foot mask, right? And then you sit back and you have your little lavender satin eye pillow from the Serenity Wellness Kit, and you have your headphones on, listening to whatever relaxing music, and you put that on your feet and you kick back for a half hour or meditate or do whatever. What a great way to just revitalize your body from the feet up.
Absolutely. And so, I mean, you know, supporting your confidence too, and just feeling good, and it's good to take care of ourselves and
being healthy. Because when we are out more with open feet and barefoot and everything, any crack and opening is an avenue for pathogens to get into the body. So having intact foot skin is a really good idea.
I'm a fan of intact foot skin.
Yeah.
Put that out there. I'm definitely a fan of the intact foot skin. I don't like it not being attached.
Or shoes and socks, right? Yeah. Shoes and socks in the summer, man. You want to?
I'm a barefoot person for sure. Like, we never wear shoes, and yeah, but you know, you do get dry feet. You know, you have different issues that come with that, and so I love all these ideas. On the foot topic, let's just stick with the feet. Okay, we're just gonna have a little. I was just in New Orleans, and as they say, we're gonna put our foot in it, right? We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it right. So pain in the feet, perhaps due to diabetic neuropathy. Okay, what are some ideas, some supports that we have on this? I know we've got a couple ideas. I know, Susan, did you have some thoughts on that specifically? I'm trying to see.
I do. And oddly enough, I'm going to say myrrh again. Myrrh is really great for supporting healthy nerves and circulation in our feet.
Yes.
So, or in hands too. I have someone in our family who suffers from some of that, like tingling and numbness in the hands, and myrrh has been very helpful.
Yes. We are also getting in information that aroma touch, as it is good for circulation, would be a great oil to use regularly, as well as some cypress. And then a little deep blue rub, right? A little deep blue rub to increase circulation, get that little tingling going. So some great ideas here. And then, okay, then the rest is just information on the topic specifically about helping to deal with the balance of, you know, the other symptoms. But, you know, getting that regular massage happening, aroma touch I think would be great, but myrrh, I love this. Plus myrrh, it just feels so good. It has such a great feel and scent to it. I like the thickness of it.
Love the scent of myrrh.
Yeah,
So
right.
nice. Yeah.
Watching your
And calming, which is great.
Yes, I love that. I love that. Okay, so the next question is whether or not people who are not wellness advocates. So in other words, you're just, you're hanging out, you're loving your oils, you have your account, you're on your LRP, you're like, I love my oils, I love my supplements, doTERRA rocks. But you have zero interest in ever building a business because you're a very busy person doing your life and it's just not something that is in your path. However, you heard about this big party that we're having in September called The Connection. Are you allowed to go? Right? And the answer is a resounding yes. Unlike other, I don't know, like business conventions, you hear about people, oh, we had a convention and they're going to go and they're going to learn about this and that. And it's very much like for salespeople, if you will, or for people who are working in that industry. doTERRA's Connection is what it's called, is not that. It is very much education, but it is for people who use their oils. Okay. Of course, all of us wellness advocates are there because we use our oils, but it is open to customers as well. Right, Tammy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not only is it open to wellness advocates and wholesale customers, but you can attend in person, which the energy of attending in person is just amazing. And then they always announce new products when we do our connection, and they have this setup where you can go in and you can see all the products and all the new products and learn so much information along with every product in skincare. So being there is like, oh my gosh, it's the best. But you can also get it virtually. And if you can't go, and it's going to be in Salt Lake City, if you can't get to Salt Lake City at that time, you can attend it virtually. And you can also purchase a swag box if you want, which is going to have a nice booklet and a backpack and maybe a special oil.
Yeah. So one of the benefits, the huge benefits I see about going are, first off, you get to get all of anything new the day it's released. Okay. That's huge. But my favorite thing, obviously you can watch the recordings of the different lectures, talks, discussions about the chemistry, the science of this, how this works, our co-impact sourcing, healing hands, all of these things that are happening and hear directly from the people via your computer. But what you can't do via the computer is have personal conversations with people who work in co-impact sourcing. You can have, Susan had a whole skincare, what did they do? Like an evaluation on her skin and helped her to figure out what products would be and it was totally free, right?
Right, exactly.
Yeah, you can get aroma touch massages. You
can go up to every booth. It's a huge room. And when I say booth, that is underselling by a landslide, okay? And speak to the people who work on that particular product or work with sourcing that particular item and get your questions answered directly from the scientists, directly from the people who are either the harvesters, people who are working on that project. And you can spend as much time as you need picking their brain and getting your problem solved by the people who are there to do that. And these aren't just people talking like this is the guy who developed adaptive, and you get to talk with him about your needs for adaptive, and they're going to give you advice based on what I think that, and the energy, of course, the environment, but that is something you could never get from a recording. The energy too, but you could never get that true experience of really getting to check out everything and learn about what's, like Susan was over in the skincare thing doing that, and I was over doing something else. Everybody gets to kind of be personal about what it is that they're excited to take the time to go and learn about. And it's so inspiring. And people come away with true solutions and excitement. It is not a business training. There is no business ease. There is no talking about business. And there are no, trying to get you to do a business. Okay.
There's no pink Cadillacs or
Yeah, it's none of that, right?
Mercedes Benz or hey, yeah, no.
None of that. It's truly just, it's a convention or a connection for people who want to learn more about natural health and wellness through their membership with doTERRA. It's very affordable and it's a lot of fun. So you can register for that starting today. Actually, today is May 19th, 2021. I think it's what, $150 or something like that for 3 days. It's in that range, 180, 150. I don't remember
69,
exactly.
I think it's 169 or
There you
something.
go, 169 for 3 days of full. Come on, when do you get 3 days of full education? You know what I mean, for $169? You don't, right? So it's just awesome. Anyway, so that is your answer to that. Yes, come and let us know that you're coming so that we can take you out to lunch and get to see you and visit with you, and we'll save you a seat. which is a gift, trust me. Okay, so our next question, I'm going to throw this one. Let me see. I'm kind of looking through and I'm looking at how much time we have. We're a little bit over. So I'm going to pick an easier one that we can actually complete in the time amount that we have. And this one is going to be back to our intermittent fasting, the queen, Susan. So it's saying that, can I have, okay, so it's a collagen peptide supplement powder, I believe. This must be what this is. And the question is whether or not this can be added, 2 scoops a day or whatever, for knee pain, so on and so forth, in tea. And would that bump them off of a fast? Is that, am I getting that right, Susan?
I believe you are, yes. So what you want to look at when you are doing intermittent fasting is that when you're in your fasting period, you don't want to intake anything that has calories or has a nutritional component that is going to cause your body to focus on digesting what's currently in the stomach, to assimilate it. And, if you put something in your stomach, that's what your body has to do, right? So you want that fasting period, because your fasting doesn't really start technically until after the last meal that you eat, when your blood glucose stops rising, which presumably means it's going to begin to fall, right? That's technically the beginning of your fast time. Now, for most of us, we're not going to know that, right? So we just go by our last dinner to like when, or last meal, I should say, to when is the next meal going to be and what's that phase going to be. And that's why it's called intermittent. We're not doing it. We're not fasting for, more than 24 hours. If we're doing it intermittently, we may go on a longer fast, right? But then you're just fasting. So if you're doing it intermittently and you're figuring out what's my meal time block and what's my fasting time block, you want it to get all the benefits. And, here's the thing, you can eat what you want when you want, right? But if you want all those benefits from fasting that we talked about when we did the fasting class and we looked at the whole graph and what happens in our body over time, you got to get to that time period for that to happen, right? So we want to get over 13 hours, and we may need to get, for some of us, even as far as 20 hours or more, like 24 hours, maybe even, but at least get to 15 to 17 hours to daily throw your body into that kind of autophagy fasting that we're talking about, where it's going inward to break down things that are old and kind of have reached their expiration date, right? And that's where the magic comes from, because it unlocks newer cells in our body and helps give us that turnover that we need and we might not be accessing. So back to the collagen, if you look at the label on your supplement and look at, first of all, calories, if there's calories in it, save it for your meal block, right? Just arrange your schedule so that you can do it during your meal block.
Okay.
The other thing is like, if you're taking in something like even your multivitamin, put that in your meal block time for a couple of reasons. One is it's not calories, but it's nutrition that your body needs to assimilate. We want the body to have time to do other things. And also because some of your vitamins are actually just better absorbed when they're taken with food, because they kind of sneak in with the nutrition that you're providing with your meal. So keep the things that you want to take in your meal block time, and then preserve that fasting time for water, black coffee, tea, things that are not going to raise your blood sugar.
Right. That's perfect. Yes. So no, the answer is you don't get to have it.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, not during those times, right? So that was a
Not during
perfect-
those times, right? And again, if that's the day, maybe you arrange your fasting around other things. There's so many creative ways that you can adjust when your mealtime is, so that you can do the other things that you need to do. And here's the beauty of it. Over time, you're going to get all the benefits of fasting and maybe need, less of some of those things, right? We're going to hopefully have good cell turnover and good cell function and all that kind of stuff as a result of fasting.
Oh, that's a very good
That's the
point.
goal.
That is a very good point. I like that. Well, thank you, ladies, so much. Thank you, Leslie, and Miss Joan, who had to go get BG from the spa. But thank you all so much, Miss Susan, Epiphany Essentials, Miss Leslie, Daisy Girl Essentials, Tammy with Pure Plant Oils, Diana with Wellness is Essential with Diana, and then Miss Joan from bosqueom Essentials. Reach out to us if you have questions. We're always available to answer your questions. We also have, if you're watching on Facebook, then obviously you know where to find us. And if you are listening on the podcast, our contact info will be in the show notes below. I try to also include recipes if we talk about them, but it doesn't always happen. It depends on if I can snag them off of the amazing notes that our incredible Miss Diana types for us up in the notes section on Facebook. You can go to Facebook if you're on there and request to join Raven's Nest Essentials members and friends, where you can see us doing this and see all of those wonderful notes from Miss Diana. So thank you guys so much. I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your happy hump day Wednesday. I hear the weather's getting much prettier now in Albuquerque. I'm excited to be back with you guys soon. And yeah, with that, have a wonderful evening, everyone. If you have questions, send them to your wellness advocate. We will get them in. We had to skip a couple this week, but we are going to get them in first thing. I'm going to already start the list so that they are the first ones that we tackle next week. If you have questions, let us know. We do try to answer you right away, and then we will put them in our conversation. If you don't have a wellness advocate, reach out to one of us again, or you can send your questions to ravensnestessentials@gmail.com and we will add them into the list. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you again.
Bye, everybody.
Thanks.
everyone.
Bye.
Mwah.